Here's my review of the great state of Minnesota.
Oh, my state. I'm so excited to hear what you think.
Imagine my shock to discover that the first thing you notice upon entering Minnesota is that the roads are littered with the dismembered corpses of animals.
I mean, we have some roadkill because we live in a state where, wild animals still exist, but littered? What do you mean by that?
When I say roads, I mean all of them. Highways, freeways, surface streets. When I say littered, I mean covered. I mean it's constant. And when I say dismembered corpses of animals, I mean like just a deer's head. I drive a Kia. It is low to the ground. Have you ever dragged a dismembered deer head underneath your Kia for 3 miles?
I have, in fact, owned multiple Kias and have somehow managed to live in Minnesota the majority of my life and not drag any severed deer heads underneath them. Maybe it's because I just grew up here and I learned how to swerve around all the decapitated deer. And us Minnesotans must be so desensitized that we don't even notice them anymore. So for fairness sake, I'm gonna go drive around and look really hard and record all of these deer corpses. I will take the truck so we can see up higher, maybe see the ones that are down in the ditch that the grass might be covering up. And then we'll take Emily's Honda because it's low to the ground and see how many deer heads we can capture in the undercarriage.
All right, not seeing any littered on Highway 61, so I'm gonna try the back roads. And there's nothing here, so gravel roads. Definitely gonna be dead deer on gravel roads, just not this gravel road. Maybe that gravel road? No. Let's try catching some with Emily's car. Perhaps that'll work.
Well, that didn't go to plan. My interpretation was littered meant more than zero. In all seriousness, it's been like a week since I saw that video, and I've been vigilantly looking for dead deer, and surprisingly have seen zero roadkill in that week. Which is strange, honestly, because, I live where the deer are. I've also had friends visit from all over the country and never had anyone comment on the excessive amount of roadkill we apparently have.
Didn't realize that severed deer heads were such an integral part of Minnesota's cultural experience.
Oh, they absolutely are. It's just more so on the walls, not so much the road. Did you Ricky Bobby your Kia through somebody's living room? Was it a taxidermy 12-pointer that got caught under your car? Man, Frank's gonna be pissed. Anyway, aside from your Cole Sear 6 cents for deer, did you have any other experiences in our great state?
I did spend a lovely few days in the Twin Cities.
Great cities to spend some time. I'm confident that the abundance of food and drinks and entertainment and culture made you forget all about your deer head horrors.
I was able to access obnoxious delicacies.
Good to hear. I know you're vegan, and unfortunately that means you probably missed out on some of the staples like blackened walleye, chicken wild rice soup, Juicy Lucy's, cheese curds, tater tot hot dish. There's still lots of great vegan options like a wild rice burger. I mean, we do wild rice better than anybody. And desserts, we got some interesting desserts like dessert salads. They're not really a salad, we get very, very liberal with the use of the word salad here, but they're good. Oh, and all the cultural food, like it's a diverse city. We probably got the most authentic Vietnamese and Hmong food outside of Asia. There's some great Ethiopian and Thai places. Oh, and beer. We've got an amazing beer culture. Hopefully you like beer.
A pistachio milk latte.
Huh?
I'm no better than you. I will drink the pistachio milk latte and I will pay $8 for it.
I've never even heard of a pistachio milk latte. Did I miss the memo that this was supposed to be a staple beverage as a Minnesotan? But indeed, one of our local breweries does make a pistachio cream ale, and that's pretty good.
Delicious little treats everywhere you look in Minneapolis. The architecture, beautiful.
There we go. I'm glad you got to enjoy some of our great architecture. We have some beautiful cathedrals.
The weather, though, I don't think any place is supposed to be that cold and have human beings living there. Really miserable weather.
You were here in October. Don't you feel like being just like a tad dramatic? October's not that bad. The lakes aren't even froze yet.
Yes, it is walkable as long as you don't mind slipping on the ice.
You can walk almost anywhere in downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul without ever leaving a building. We have this thing called the Skyway. It's all inside. It's awesome. There's like little shops along the way and places and stuff, and it's very notably ice-free.
The people in Minnesota try to make up for that by being warm and friendly and welcoming.
Cold weather in Minnesota nice, man. We're getting some hot takes about our state now.
People in Minnesota are so warm that you almost forget that you're freezing to death from the inside out while staring into the dead, soulless eyes of a dismembered deer head.
Really? Back to the deer again?
I'm going to give my review of the great state of Minnesota, one of my worst reviews for a state. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. And all 4 of those points are just for how friendly the people in Minnesota are.
Hold up, that's it. You came to Minnesota, you saw some roadkill, had a coffee drink none of us have ever heard of before, and now you're rating our state. Didn't visit any of our museums because we have some of the best in the country. Science, history, art, culture, you name it. We've got a museum for it, and it's a pretty good one. Didn't catch an opera at the Ordway or a play at the Guthrie. Didn't see our professional orchestra play or catch a dinner show at the Chanhassen. Didn't catch a concert at one of our amazing music venues like First Ave. You didn't catch a comedy show or any show. We have 440 theaters in the Twin Cities alone. We also have a giant mall with a theme theme park in the middle and an aquarium in the basement. We also have Como Zoo and Conservatory, which is an amazing zoo and conservatory, and it's totally free. The Minnesota Zoo in October has this amazing pumpkin carving display. Like, you walk through it. It's probably like a mile of walking around pumpkins that people professionally carve. They're so cool. There's always like a theme, and you can drink while you do it because, you know, it's Minnesota. What about the outdoors? Did you do nothing outdoors? We're a very outdoorsy state. We have a lot of outdoors here. It's where all of our deer come from. You don't even need to leave the city to do it. There's tons of parks, a bunch of Great Lakes. There's even a waterfall in Minneapolis. It's called Minnehaha Falls, and you don't even need to leave the city to get to it. So we've pretty much got every type of sport. He came to the state of hockey during hockey season and didn't catch a hockey game. And that's just in the Twin Cities. Like, he could have went up to Duluth, which is an amazing port city, the furthest inland ocean-going port city in the world, on the biggest lake in the world. Whole North Shore, gorgeous. Boundary Waters, incredible. And the state is littered, if we're going with my interpretation of the word, with great breweries and wineries that do all sorts of fun stuff. Bingo, trivia, open mic nights, painting classes, local musicians, karaoke. There's great nightlife, amazing bars and gay bars. You can even go do drag queen bingo brunches. We even have speakeasies. We have an authentic Prohibition-era speakeasy in caves, and you can tour it, and you can go there and do swing dancing. It genuinely has to take work to do tourism this badly. So my rating for you as a tourist is a 2 out of 10. You get 1 point for driving, because road trips can lead you to all sorts of cool and interesting places, and you get 1 more point for... You get 2 points for driving. Seriously, if you're gonna visit a place and then, you know, review it on the internet, at least do some of the things in that place. Seriously, I traveled to Kansas City once on an overnight trip to deliver a truck, and I went to their, like, World War I museum and their aquarium and had some amazing barbecue. Kansas City isn't exactly the peak of culture and entertainment, and I managed to do more there in 36 hours than you did in Minnesota in, like, 2 weeks. I genuinely don't know how you possibly missed all of that. Like, are you sure you just weren't sick and watched New in Town and Fargo back to back and then had a fever dream about traveling to Minnesota? Don't know how else you could have done this state that bad. Anyway, I'm done now, and I apologize to my followers because I know the Venn diagram between my followers and her followers is probably a fucking circle. So I apologize for picking on her, but you just can't come from LA of all places and do Minnesota that dirty. Anyway, I'm out of beer, so I'm gonna go get another one. But if y'all are thinking about visiting Minnesota, I highly recommend a better review. Love y'all.